Okay, day 13. Woke up feeling much better. I guess I just needed a good rest. Finished the book, Portrait of Dorian Gray. Wow, freaking awesome. It showed me that beauty can be corrupting, if not from the soul, and taken naturally. So I must beware not to expect it or get used to it. I must always be humble and be human. I travelled onward along the road and visited this pottery place called Powder Mills, which Helen mentioned. I wasn't going to go in, but then I remembered about taking all opportunities one is offered, so I did. I met Joss, the lovely owner and potter, and her husband Martin, and we chatted. She made me an incredible cream tea, yum. I gave her the book and asked her if she wanted any help at all, but she's okay. Guess what? I hugged her as I left, and it left me feeling really good, fuzzy inside. I stopped half an hour later in the shade of a big tree to sit and read my next book, Out of Africa. While the noon sun abated, I went into the next place, Cherry Brook, and met Pat, who was lovely and gave me 2 bananas. I now get what it's all about here. I go into somewhere and don't expect anything. I just chat to whoever is there and try and spread the love. And then ultimately they ask if there's and then I ask if there's anything I can do, etc. On I went and stopped at Two Bridges Hotel. I rested and chatted to the manager Jared, and he was cool. He suggested I go to the disused quarry called the Fogging Tour, and then he gave me this massive bag of food. Seriously, it's freaking insane. She must have been like a miniature tornado in the kitchen, opening fridges and cupboards, going from one side to the other, thinking, oh my god, this would be good, or he'd like this. What a sweetheart. Unbridled generosity. She came out with such a smile on her face when she gave me this bag. Hot chips, coleslaw, cookies, pasties, ham, salad, bread. Oh my god. I munched on the chips and rested a while, and then carried on to Princetown. Massive prison and a big TV area. I walked 1 hour into the quarry, which was awesome. The army were in training there, doing some abseiling stuff, which was interesting, so I watched them for a while. I ended up camping on a high rock above the water, right on the edge. But what I did was I placed placed it right on the edge. No. Shit. Okay, so I got it. Yeah. So I ended up sleeping there, as I said, camped on a high rock. Well, day 14, woke up. I nearly fell into the bloody lake off that cliff that night. I woke up with a start in the early morning to find my feet past the rocks that I'd placed to mark the edge, and literally my leg up to my knees were hanging over the edge. The thing is, obviously, when you're on a sleeping bag on grass, it slips, and because I was on a slight slope, I'd slid down and I was at a diagonal angle, and seriously, this cliff, it was like 30 foot up, and it was just like straight onto the rocky shores of this lake, so I could have been quite fucked up if I'd fallen, but luckily I didn't, so that was close. I walked for freaking miles today, proper back route too, through fields, over fences, over walls, between rails, and everything. Quite scary actually. Up and down. Walked to Tavistock today and I went through Bulls as well, which was scary. I went to Tavistock today. As I entered the town, I realised I'd been there before, 6 years ago. Got loads of free food from some lovely people, bought a kick-ass hatchet, and then got some awesome sleeping bag advice from Ollie and the guys at Country Kit. And they gave me some O2s from some Ordnance Survey maps of Cornwall, which were like 14 quid each, and they were like, no, you need these maps. I didn't, but they wanted to give it to me, so. Anyway, they listed all the best places to go. They were really lovely guys. Got loads of yogurts out of the co-op bins, and then exited town heading north. Bren Tours. 1.5 hours later, I wanted to collapse in a heap. Nowhere to stay. Eventually, I carried on walking and found somewhere, and ate and finally relaxed, but that was 8 PM. Day 15. Got up feeling good. Went to Brentaur, which had a castle upon it. Gorgeous, but I get the feeling I've been there before too. On into Leighton, and I noticed a sign for gorge, so I went in. Girl in the cafe gave me 2 potatoes, and the guy in the kiosk let me in for free. It was astounding. The whole thing, not just the beautiful falls, but also the Devil's Chimney. I found a great place to camp, and pissed off this big bridge. The place I camped was this disused railway bridge. It was just incredible. Nature had taken it over, and so on the floor you had all the stones, the dark grey, deep grey stones of the railway. The rails themselves had gone, but you still had the stones. And then just growing from them were all these really beautiful, sort of like silvery birch trees, but much thinner. Or maybe they were silver birch, but just young saplings. But gorgeous, so delicate green, leaves that the sun just like dripping down through them. It was really so gorgeous. Day 16. Up and onwards. I looked at the old prison and then on. Walked along the granite path for miles and miles. I met Martin, manning the bike hut shop, and we chatted for ages to pass time. I dropped my biscuits, damn it. Found a whole pack, but I dropped them. In the end, I camped in the parking place for a bit, for Meldon Reservoir. It started to rain. Then these goats came over, and then the wind came up as well, though my tarp got ripped from its rock that held it and was just flapping all night long. In the end, about 3 a.m, I had to move. I couldn't get back to sleep. It rained more and more and more, so this is now day 17, technically. So at 4 o'clock, I broke camp, and I took shelter in the disabled toilets in the car park. Yeah, that's how low I've got now. I glumly slumped in the corner to try and rest. I locked the doors and just rest. I rested till 9, which was good. I feel pretty good. So I got back on the road for the last 3 miles to Okehampton. It's raining though. My feet are soaked and they stink. My blister, which burst the other day, remember, is now an open sore waiting for an infection. Okehampton sucks. But I did get 4 tent pegs because I'm going to alter my setup. Also, I did get given a couple of sausage and cheese rolls and a cake from the railway buffet. Thank you very much. I had to stop and rest on the way. I'm totally fucked. Seriously, my legs will not work. I set up a hammock named Jeffrey now, and I power napped for half an hour. I felt better. Onwards, I decided to hitch a bit because I wanted to get to the coast as soon as possible and out of this shitty area. I got a list from Kirsty, which is cool, and stopped in a pub and then chatted to David. Nice guy. I left my knife there as it fell out. I was chatting to all these people and then, saying about love and karma and all this, and then I come back and there's my knife on the floor, this hunting knife, and everyone's like, a bit weird. Anyway, luckily I got it back. I must sort that. I don't want to get caught with my hatchet and knife in town. I think it's illegal. Anyway, I got another lift from Joe after 1 hour all the way to Greater Torrington. Joe was cool, showed me some really nice places to visit near Appledore. I can't wait. I walked quickly out of this place because it looks and feels really rough. I camped in the woods just outside of town. I set it up really well. So tired. Please be sunny tomorrow because I want dry feet. This wet feet shit is awful. Day 18. Not a bad morning. Well, no rain last night, so I slept well. I've decided to set Sundays as my Sabbath day and not to walk far and have a pub lunch, charge my phone and relax. All day. Sounds awesome. But 'twas not to be, however, as I had to walk 5 miles to the nearest pub. I trudged and trudged along this very pretty, no doubt, path in my cold, damp and now stinking trainers, completely knackered out, and finally came into the lovely town of Bideford. There I found many pubs and took a long time choosing, as I'm quite particular about which pubs I want to go in. I like them to have a warmth and character, good food and be not too busy. Eventually I sat down in this place called the White Hart, a little gem hidden in a back alley with a highly recommended homemade food. No more Sunday lunches left. Wah! Fuck it. It's Sabbath, so I ordered a lasagna. Took off my socks and shoes to dry, plugged my phone in and rested in the chair in a corner to read. Freaking great food, yum yum, but it always seems such needlessly spent money afterwards. I mean, £8 for one meal. You only end up going hungry again in 3 or 4 hours time. Whereas at £8 I could spend on a whole week's food. Gonna try and cut it out altogether, so much for this Sabbath. Stayed and read, and then left at about 3:30. The woman didn't ask for my money, so I ended up getting the lasagna free anyway. Woo! Stocked up on noodles in Morrison's, and then walked to Appledore. The bag is so heavy now. Finally found the sea, but I can't see a tree for the life of me. Shit, I don't want to walk anymore to find camp. Luckily, I finally found a secret field at the back, and a nook of trees. Oh my god, it's beautiful. I've set up camp on an old tree with 3 or 4 trees around that are all dropping this beautiful white cotton wool sort of thing. It's falling for some time now, so the ground looks as if it's covered with a soft misty snow, and it's still falling all about me, catching the afternoon sun as it does. There are green reeds majestically vertical around my camp too, and a field of buttercups at the front. All this, and I can taste the sea on the slight breeze as it gently whispers into my glade. So nice.